Plugged in now.
People don't hear that on our page.
Yeah, we can edit it.
Okay, yeah, no more echo, so I think we're good now.
Oh, good. Okay. Great.
Okay, hang on, just give it a little.
I think we're live. I see it. Oh,
All right, we're live.
Okay, we are live. And why am I hearing multiple things here? Let's see.
All right, we're live.
Why is it? Why are we hearing ourselves? I'm not sure why we're hearing ourselves.
Sometimes
come over
there's
here.
that kickback.
Okay. Hey guys, those of you who are hopping on. Oh, I bet you it's here on the page. Oh.
Oh yeah, so close out of this.
Oh, is it in the Internet Explorer?
No.
It's here.
Well,
So
no, we want to be on the Internet Explorer.
Kate's like, oh.
We're figuring this out, guys. Come on, roll with it.
This is what happens, right? We roll with it.
Still doing it?
It's still doing it, yeah.
Okay.
Quit trying to minimize. Come over here.
Okay.
I think it's here on. See, this is where it's at. We need to mute this one. Aha. Okay. Hey, can you hear us, Kate?
I can. Can you guys hear me?
Okay, and now we're not getting it. Yes, okay, and we're live on the page. It's working. Woo-hoo! Everybody that's hopping on, welcome, welcome. All right, so let's pull up the page.
Okay, now we're good. Now we're good.
Okay.
Good. Yes, I love
We
it.
figured it out. Okay, so welcome everybody. We're so excited. Looks like we're building an audience. Whit is grabbing his computer real quick so that we can interact with everybody that's joining us live tonight. And yes, it's recording. So excited. So we are extremely excited for the training that we're giving you guys tonight. And we have none other than, I don't think you really need an introduction, Kate.
But yes, she does, because we're going to say her name.
But she does.
Because she has an awesome name. Everybody loves to hear her name and see that face. So we got the awesome Kate McShea with us tonight, everybody.
Yes, everyone give us some loves. Give her some love, some hearts.
Hello, hello. What's going on?
We are so excited for her to be here with us. Before we get into that, though, we are Whit and Cari Higham. For those of you who are new that might be joining us for the first time, we're the founders of whitandcarihigham.com, where we coach and train network marketers and affiliate marketers, home-based business entrepreneurs, how to build your business online using attraction marketing strategies. And Kate is our very good friend, dear mentor. We're really excited for what she's going to be sharing with you guys here tonight. A little bit about her. Those of you hopping on, comment your name, where you're from.
We got a whole bunch.
Give you a shout
we got a
out
whole bunch of people. We got Mike and Carla, David saying hi, Marilyn saying hi. We got a bunch of people jumping on, guys. So this is super
so
awesome.
Exciting. We want this to be interactive, first of all. Okay, so for those of you who are on, if you have questions as we go, like definitely be, when you think something is of value, please be giving us the likes, the hearts. Share this video with anybody you think may benefit from it as we go too.
Yep.
So let's hurry and introduce our lovely guest, Kate. So she's a previous second grade teacher that turned entrepreneur. After working 6 years in the education space, she made the choice to leave her teaching career in June of 2012 with no plan B. That's crazy to me. To pursue an entrepreneurial path in the network marketing and internet marketing space, you know, to create that life of time freedom. And I know that we hear that all the time, you know, being entrepreneurs, being network marketers, that time freedom. So, you know, after struggling in her business for the first 12 months, Kate and her husband, Andrew, cracked the code by using a combination of social media, video marketing, and hosting webinars to promote their businesses. They went on to generate their first six-figure income in less than 12 months, which is crazy, using these strategies, and they've now built a seven-figure per year business. So guys, if there's anything we've learned over these last few years is when a 7-figure earner wants to share secrets and strategies with you,
start listening and get a pen and paper.
Everything that you're doing and you listen.
Yes.
Okay. And guys, we've known Kate now for almost 2 years, I believe.
Yeah.
Coming on 2 years now.
I think it's our almost 2-year anniversary. Super
Yes.
Guys, to know her is to absolutely love her. I mean, we owe a lot of our success, especially in this strategy that she's going to be sharing with us tonight, to her. I mean, you want to know how Whit and Cari became Whit and Cari very fast? You're looking at one of the main reasons why we jumped the ranks as fast as we did.
Yep.
So awesome. Kate, you want to say hi to everybody?
I do. I want to say hello. Drop in your comments. Say hi. I want to say hi to everybody. And hello, Cari and Whit. Super excited to be here with you guys on this live. And so grateful that we're doing this training tonight, and just so proud of you guys too.
Thank you.
I mean, I remember when we spoke for the first time at No Excuses, and and I just remember, like, it was just awesome. You guys were so fresh and so green, and then like just flew up out of nowhere. So impressed by you guys and everything that you've been able to do. Absolutely.
And one of I'll never forget it when we talked to you that very first time at No Excuses, because we were looking at investing in ourselves in like mentorship.
Yeah.
And we're all like, and we came to you. We didn't even know you. We just knew that you had success.
Yeah. And I remember sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like I had no idea really who you were at the time, because we had completely just built traditional.
Right.
And then I remember seeing you and your husband, and I talked to your husband for a minute, and I was just like, God, I'm actually talking to, because even in our own company, we didn't talk to like higher ups in our company and stuff like that. And I remember Cari's like, we need to go talk to her. And I was like, just go talk to her real quick. It's going to be weird if I do it. So she went and did it.
But you were so approachable. You were so just amazing. And I'll never forget the advice you gave us. You're just like, if you're wanting to build this, if you're wanting to do this, go all in.
Yep.
So like, that's what we did.
Yeah.
You and Andrew, you're like, we went all in, and that's the best advice we could give you. And so what did we do?
And vividly, like I remember your voice saying it. Like vividly, I remember it. And then I remember as we were leaving, because we had to drive home, like a 9-hour drive the very next day after. And I barely made it home to work at 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and we left Sunday night. And I remember the whole time, all we did was sit back there and talk and said, next year, we're going to do exactly what she said we were going to do. And so obviously a lot to Kate McShea here for, really
She's a huge part of our story.
Lighting the fire under our ass, basically, is what she did.
Good. Well, I'm happy I lit that fire, because I know a lot of these people who are watching and who are listening are impacted by you guys on a daily basis, which is awesome. So I know, myself, and I know Tim and Matt and Fernie would agree that you guys are just phenomenal. So excited. Sweet.
Okay, so we're excited.
So what's up?
We want to dive real quick into training, because we want to make the most of everyone's time tonight. But first, let's just give a couple more shout outs.
Let's get some shout outs and make sure, because guys, we're going to be kind of giving you a dive in, kind of a sneak peek of what's going to be happening over this next month, guys, because we have some amazing things happening. And so just before we dive into that, giving a few shout outs and stuff like that, we want to make sure that you guys are going to be getting access to these. And me and Cari are creating a special list for these people that want access to the videos that are up and coming this next week. So before you do that, and before we do anything, because we understand that you guys have lives too, and life might hit you, kids might get in the way, and you might have to jump off. So before you do that, if you want access to this, click just comment access down below. So that way we can, again, we don't lose anybody. Access down below. So that way you can get. Yep. So that way you guys can get these videos that are going to be starting. That's going to be just super. Yeah. Not access, guys. Okay. I mean, let's keep it PG. No, I'm just kidding. You can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want.
Awesome.
We have a ton of people on here tonight, Kate. And so Rhonda, Tracy, I talked to you earlier.
Amber,
awesome.
Rhoda, Valerie,
Heather, Leanne
Rebecca
from
says
Vegas.
Hi, Kate, Shelly, Colleen, Gary. We're so excited to dive into this, because
Brandy,
the
what's
coolest
up?
thing about your method that I personally think is that we're like walking testimonials of it, I guess you could say. And so
literally.
And so, but there's still so much even that we haven't learned about it. So we're really excited to kind of pick your brain tonight over the next few minutes.
Sure.
To kind of learn. But I guess our first question is, we want you to kind of see how you can relate to our audience that's out there. And so like when you were first starting in your home business, when you decided, okay, I'm quitting my job with no plan B, like what was your biggest struggle? What did you feel like that biggest struggle was in building your business?
Sure. Yeah. And man, could I give you a whole double handful of struggle?
Yeah,
right?
seriously.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I would say the best way that I can share some of the things that I started to realize through. So we talk about, getting mentorship. And I know Cari and Whit, and we talk about going from 0 to 6 figures in 12 months. Well, we had 12 months of like serious struggle before that. That was 12 months of when I had gotten into the business. My wonderful, handsome husband, Andrew, had actually been in network marketing for a little while, looking for a multiple stream of income or like an extra side, little side hustle, right? If you guys are doing the side hustle right now, so you're like working full time and you're doing the side hustle, drop a 1 in the comments because I want to know if that's you. Because I mean, we totally get that, right? And so then let me know if how do I say this? So I want to see if anybody else can relate. Okay. So think about, have you ever been in a space where all of a sudden you thought you were going to be going in one direction, and then like with the flip of a switch, all of a sudden you look and you're in a completely different space and it's not pretty.
Yes.
And it's not what you expected, and it's not pretty. Drop a 2 in if you've ever witnessed or experienced that before or know of somebody else. That was me back in June of 2012. I literally just left my teaching job because I was, and I'm not going to go too deep into my story. You'll hear a little bit more about my story inside of the videos that Cari and Whit are talking about. However, I was a, second grade teacher. I literally had just left my job that June, and I was like, I'm going to start up this network marketing business. I'm going to start my own business, and I'm going to be amazing at it immediately.
Yeah.
And so here I am, and this is where my real struggle came from, and I didn't realize it in the beginning. Was we had moved from Connecticut to New York, and then we were going to be moving to Portland, Oregon, right? And so for me, I had this thing of like, I thought that I was always really, really coachable. And if I had people that were going to tell me and recommend what to do, like it would just work like instantly, and it would work to the extent that I needed it to work, right? So a lot of the things that I did in the beginning, which were hard for me because I just moved into a new area and I didn't know anybody. And so I'm meeting people, I'm meeting new friends, and then I'm also trying to prospect at the same time. So that was one struggle that I had. However, here's the cool thing that I did learn is that when I utilized those strategies, yes, some of them worked. Yes, a lot of them worked, right? The traditional side of things can work, and it's recommended for a reason. However, this is what I realized. I left my teaching job with no plan B. Like for me personally, I left my teaching job with no plan B because I envisioned a life of freedom. We don't have kids yet. However, that's one main reason why I was like, I'm starting up this business. I want to be there for my babies. I want to be there for my family. How many of you can relate in the comments? Like you want to be there for your kids, right? I know you guys do. Absolutely, right? So I saw this different side of life that I wanted, and I wanted the freedom. I wanted the time freedom. I wanted, the financial time freedom that everybody talks about. Yet what I was finding is I literally was spending like hours and hours and hours a day offline, doing offline methods. And then I decided to take a lot of stuff online, and I was, networking with people through Facebook. I was messaging people. And again, I was looking at, okay, I'm bringing in some people, I'm signing up some customers, I'm selling some products, yet it took me 7 hours to sign up one person today, right? So then I like, do you guys relate to that?
Oh,
like,
totally.
Yeah, right?
Sometimes it's days.
Like 6 months.
Right, yeah. And I was like, I was messaging people, and then I started to notice it took on average almost like 14 days for me to build enough of a relationship because I wasn't good at being on the phone. Like it would take me an hour and a half to just have a prospecting conversation.
Yeah, totally.
So it's like all of a sudden I started working the numbers, and we started working the numbers, and it was like, hey, if I want to make this much, and in the beginning it was just to replace my teacher salary. I'm like, with the way that I'm going, I'm going to have to spend like 29 hours a day, and I don't have 29 hours in a day. Like, how do I do it? So for me, I think the biggest struggles I had in the beginning is like, for people that are open and coachable, you're going to do what you're recommended to do, right? And the things that were recommended to me worked. So that's the thing. But what I realized was that, is there a way where I can make sure that I get in front of more people versus doing all the one-on-one stuff, right? And I mean, gosh, there's a way, like, home parties work for a reason. Live events work for a reason. There's a reason that companies recommend doing them, is like, you get a mass amount of people in one space, and then you have a person present, and then people sign up. And so it's like, how could you do that and do it online and do it in a way where it's like, you do 60 minutes of work, maybe a little bit more because you're promoting and you're getting people to show up, but then you're not having the same conversation over and over and over and over again. Like, it almost got to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if I can tell somebody else, or have the same conversation. Like, you just get tired. And so for me, I was tired a lot. I was burnt out a lot, and I couldn't see the future on how I was going to make this work with the amount of time that I had, and knowing that the reason I got into this was time freedom for my kids, right? Yeah. So does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Total sense. If you guys are getting value, give us some likes, give us some love.
And we are getting a lot of likes and love.
Yes,
so believe me,
you
they're
are
getting value.
Lots of love.
Love it. Well, and the greatest thing about that whole thing is, and I think that's why one reason why we really related to you, and we've really tried to kind of mimic what you've been able to create too. Why? Because we had a lot of the same goals. We had a lot of the same personality. We had a lot of the same drive. Yeah. And me and Cari noticed that, because as you're going out there, you're trying to kind of find that person that you relate to, and you're talking about being coachable. And that's what we were looking for. We were very coachable people, believe me. I mean, we've done some things in network marketing that I'm just like, why in the hell did we do that? But I was like, because we were told that if we go out there and just put the effort in there, it's going to work. And so we were coachable, so we can relate to that totally. And some of the stuff that you just barely said on, the home meetings, and, they do work in these online meetings, and it kind of leads into kind of one of our next questions we were going to ask.
The total time suck. Yeah. We're going to just throw that out there right now.
Totally.
Okay.
Yes.
But so you were struggling. You're like, okay, is there a way that we can do this? How exactly did you come across this strategy that we're going to be talking about tonight?
How did you develop that?
How did you discover, like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get results?
Sure. So it was interesting because actually I think we had seen it in a couple of different industries. So obviously and the cool thing is like, with this strategy on how it works, like, you can use it in affiliate marketing, you can use it in network marketing, you can use it in, like, if you have your own coaching business or sell your own products. It's really, really neat. And basically what we started to think about was, how do you transition the live event that everybody, promotes, or the home party, or, the trade show, because trade shows too, like, you get a mass amount of people in front of your product and service at one time. Like, how do you do it? And then I remember, like, we started actually signing up for these trainings, right? Like, someone would advertise out that they were doing a special training on something that I was interested in. And so I entered it in my email, entered in our information. And then it's like, oh my gosh, look at this. This is basically just like a home party or a live event. And, oh, their product and service. Oh, look, we're signing up. Like, we're signing up now. We're buying. There has to be something to that. And so then what's neat is that I think both Andrew and I just became consumed with understanding how to make this work. Yeah. And then a couple of our mentors are really, really, one of our mentors specifically is very, very, very powerful in webinars. And so, I mean, it was like just years of listening and years of picking little things that he did, little things that other people I saw did. Also looking at things that I identified that people did wrong, which I know I'll talk quite a bit about in the training series, and probably a little bit tonight as well too on this training. But like, we started to look at and started to make things our own, started to take some of the things that we loved from different elements and started testing them out. And the first time we did one of these online events. We literally had, I think it was, and I can't remember the exact stats right now. I know it's in my training, is it was 19 people, right? We invited 19 people. I think 9 showed up and 2 bought, and we made $594. And it was amazing because it was the first time that it was literally like, we had that many people in 60 minutes, and we probably made more money than we had ever really made doing anything else. If you really look at like your dollar per hour or anything like that. Then we tweaked things, and then in one night we had our first 5-figure night, literally in a 60 minutes time.
That's cool.
So it's just so neat when that stuff happens. And so I think it was like we realized what was happening to us, that we were actually prospects going through that phase. And then went, how can we do this for our business? Which is really, really cool.
Yeah. Love it. Love
so,
it.
And I want you to know how like powerful that is, because, excuse me, Lisa here, she says, do tell, how do we make this transition? She's like, she's biting at the bit. How do we make this transition? And so I think that's one of the biggest things that people struggle with, is in the mindset of, okay, now how do I finally make that transition into,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's scary, right?
Yep. Yeah.
It's a little scary because I know for me, I did so much behind my computer where I was, private messaging people, having conversations. Even if I got on the phone, it was like, all right, I guess I can do that. But then taking that next step, so many people think that, and I like to call them hosting online events, like live events, right? Because, you can call it a webinar, you can call it a masterclass, you can call it a training workshop, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing. It's how to get a mass amount of people in one space at one time so you can market out your products and services. What I'll tell you, because I think you're right, Whit, like how do you transition? Mm-hmm. Well, for me, there's 3 topics that I think most people struggle with that hold people back from starting ever with hosting online events. Is number 1, they're not really sure what they're presenting about or how to create a way to present. It's hard, right? Or it seems like it's hard. What I'm going to share with you will make it so much easier, and we'll just make everything more clear and basically get people revved up to buy, which is exciting. Right. The second part is like, okay, so now I know what I'm talking about. Well, how do I invite people?
Yep.
Right? Like, how do I do that? How do I invite people?
And I love that you're going over this, because somebody just barely said, well, how do I get these groups together? How do I invite people?
How do I get people
I love it.
Sure. Yeah. I'm going to share with you one method tonight. I know we have limited time. We don't have all the time in the world.
Sadly.
Yeah. Sadly.
That's why you're commenting access, guys, is so that way you can expand that time from just a little bit of time we have tonight. So keep going.
So I'll share one of those. And then the other piece that actually people don't realize that they struggle with is getting people to actually stay on their training. Like when they show up, like what makes them want to stay? And I'll tell you, that is what I see most people do wrong. And I'll talk about that when we kind of get into that part in the training tonight. But I'm going to share with you what I like to call one of the elements of the 15-minute hosting hook that basically gets people hooked to you and like gets them focused, glued to their computer, wanting to stay, and then wanting to stay through to where they buy. Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Love it. Cool. Well, and so I guess kind of moving forward here is, like, cause I just watching the comments, everybody's like blowing up here. Like, oh my God, like biting at the bit here. I love it. I absolutely love it. What's going on right now. And so I guess the next question we had asked you to kind of elaborate a little bit more on this process is what is the 60-minute enrollment method? Sure. And what makes it more powerful? Because there are a lot of other products out there, obviously, and a lot of people come across other products and stuff like that. And so I guess, what is it and what makes it so powerful?
Yeah, sure. So what we did when we created the philosophy behind the 60-minute enrollment method was, really, in short, it's the way to get that rapid spike in lead sales and enrollments in 60 minutes or less, and get more results than most people get, honestly, in like 6 months. Yeah. Because you're condensing time, right? And so I think, when a lot of people think like, oh, well, is like what makes this different? Well, it's really about managing your time. It's about taking a very step-by-step process. And I know some of that I'll walk you through on this training, and then the rest will come through the video series. And I think you and I have we all have a special training that we're going to be doing together as well.
Yeah, it's a very private training
one
for you guys that, and that's why you're going to be clicking access so you can get the hands-on, like what she's talking about. Cause like Kate said, we have very limited time. So that's why you want to keep commenting access if you want to be on that list. So that way we can invite you to this training, and she's just going to spill the beans on everything. So it's going to be awesome.
I'm so
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the one other thing I would say just about the method is, and what we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that it wasn't just snippets. Like a lot of times we've had trainings where they're just snippets, and instead we wanted to be able to give people a process from the immediate piece of like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm going to host my online event. Okay, what is it going to be about? How do I invite people? How do I get people to show up? All of that. Like, how does it all work? So from start to finish, it's absolutely complete, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, so cool.
So I want to dive in, because I know that we are short on time. I want to dive into some of these 3 topics that we're going to be talking about tonight.
Sure.
The first one is that hooker, that, what am I going to be talking about? Because I know that there's a lot of people on here tonight.
So hard to figure that out for most. I mean, me and Cari felt that when we first started.
Like, because I think the biggest thing was we didn't have any results. So I was like, how can I do a webinar or a training if I haven't had results yet? And so that's kind of what I want you to tie into that hook of, okay, how am I, what's the big idea? How can I train on it if I haven't had results?
Oh, it's awesome. So, and it's a great way to segue into kind of what I'm going to share on this training, because I think I hear that so many times. Like, I hear from, how many of you in here feel like, well, I can't really do these yet because I don't have, I don't have a 6-figure business yet, or I feel like I don't have the results that I need to be that person, be that presenter.
Let us know in the comments if you've ever felt that way.
Yeah, keep dropping it. Yeah.
Because what I can tell you is that you are always further ahead than somebody else is today. Like, you are further ahead than you were yesterday, and you have information, or you have a story, of somebody else in your company that has the results that they want to have. And so literally all it is, it's about how you structure that. And here's the cool thing, okay? This is the part that I love. And this is the part that I love about this specific method is you get to design your business based upon who you want to ideally work with, who you want to ideally have as a customer, maybe as a coaching client, but who you pretty much want to be around all the time. Now, so this is the neat part, okay? Because I like to call it the top 3 questions to uncover your big promise, okay? Because the big thing that most people don't do when they think about these online events is like, what's the big thing that I want people to know? That's literally all you have to think about first before you start inviting people and getting the buzz out there. It's literally coming up with this, and this alone could take you like 15 minutes max if you really sit down, put on your headset, and do the work. You guys ready for the questions?
Yeah, I love it.
Yes,
Okay, guys, get ready. Get ready.
All right, drop us a me if you're ready for these questions.
Yes.
We're excited. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna open it up until I get me's in there. No,
Oh, they're coming. They're gonna
All right.
smash. You guys better start dropping them fast here.
Yes.
Gary's like me. All right, I'll go.
Me.
So first question.
Here they come. Here they come, Kate.
Good. So make sure that you write them down, because I will go fast, and make sure that you rewatch this and hop into the trainings. I think you guys got comments access. That'll be really, really helpful. So the first question, okay, and this is what's so cool, is you get to literally design your business, like design who's going to sign up and who's going to enroll. So the first question you actually have to think of, and it's maybe not the sexiest question, however, when you do this is what expands everything. It expands how you talk to prospects. It expands how you invite, expands how you present. Really, really cool. So the first question is, what kind of people do you want to show up to your online event? And I'm going to give you examples in just a second. Okay, so I'll give you each question. First question is, what kind of people do you want to have show up to your online event? And this one, that's super powerful, and I'll explain why. Number 2, what are their biggest pains, objections, struggles, and fears? Okay, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. And then the third one is, what are their biggest dreams and desires in life? And if you're thinking to yourself, well, I already know that stuff, or I've answered those questions before, stick with me, because I'm going to give you some examples and show you how literally when you answer these 3 questions, along with some of the other stuff I don't have time to share with you on this specific training, it just all comes together. Okay. So the first question, what kind of people do you want to have at your event? And this is the reason I love this one. So like, how many of you are either, let's use health and wellness for an example. Okay. So maybe you're in a health and wellness company and you've got like a 30-day promotional, weight loss challenge that you're going to be promoting. And that's what you're selling right now. What most people will do is they'll go, oh, well, I'm going to market my online event to 18-year-olds all the way up to 75-year-olds. Like it's for everybody, right? I can sell this to anybody. It fits for everybody. But here's the thing that most people won't do. And this is the reason that a lot of people that struggle with, not even just these online events, but like doing Facebook Lives, like this is where people get stuck, is because if you look at how you would speak to an 18-year-old and what they might be looking for a weight loss versus the reasons that a 75-year-old might be looking for a weight loss challenge or to lose some weight, we would speak to them totally different, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Totally.
And so the cool part that you actually get to do is you get to decide versus, other people telling you what to do. You get to decide and develop who you want at the event. So for example, let's say maybe you want women in their 40s and 50s, okay, who are struggling to lose weight. And that's who you want to invite. Like you would have an absolutely wonderful time hosting a presentation and doing a presentation for women in their 40s and 50s looking to lose weight. Awesome. There you go. You checked it off your list, right? You don't have to focus on anybody else. Those are your people. And then the second question, right? What are their pains and struggles, objections, or biggest fears? Now, here's the number one thing that I see most people do, okay?
Right.
They stay on surface. And they're like, oh, well, women in their 40s and 50s, what are they struggling with? Well, they're struggling to lose weight. Well, why are they struggling to lose weight? Well, I'm not really sure because they're struggling to lose weight, and it's like they can't get past that piece. But like really, really think about that. When you have that ideal person that you want to have at your event, what might their pains and struggles be? Well, a woman in their 40s to 50s might be struggling with the fact, and this is just going to take a little bit of work. You might be asking some questions, right? You might want to talk to some of your friends about it, but you're going to make a list. One of the examples could be that their body's changing. So like when they were 28, they were able to eat a double cheeseburger with bacon and barbecue sauce and cheese fries and and it would lose weight. Right? And now it's like they do that and then all of a sudden they gain the weight and they can't get the weight off. So their body is changing and they're not happy with the way that the body is changing and they're trying to accommodate how they eat. Or they might eat, only meat and vegetables and that's all they eat and they can't seem to lose the weight, right? So there's something different there.
Yep.
Or they might be tired more often, right? Because they're either chasing after their own kids or they're chasing after their grandkids. And it's just like they're not as energized as they were, way back when. It could be yo-yo diets. Like they've done and I make a joke about it, but the one where it's like, eat bacon all day, every day, and you lose 10 pounds. And maybe they've had results with that, but then all of a sudden they gain 30 extra pounds, in the next 60 days. Or maybe their clothes don't fit like they used to and they don't feel confident in themselves anymore, or they don't have time to work out, right? You want to go a little bit deeper. Or their husband doesn't look at them like they used to, like they feel like that spark's missing. So when you start really getting curious, because you're literally setting up your event to like have it be a phenomenal time where the people that you're trying to get to your event are going to be like the ideal people you would be so excited to work with in the long term. So spend that time, really think about it.
Right.
And then the third question is, what are their dreams and desires? So again, don't just think about, well, their dreams and desires are wanting to lose weight. That's what people do, right?
Yep.
And if you're thinking to yourself, like, well, I don't really know these things yet, I have a really slick strategy for you when I talk about an easy invite. In just a second, that'll just open up the floodgates of people basically just sharing every single dream and desire and fear that they have. Right. But dreams and desires for them might be, I want to fit back into my skinny jeans that I wore when I was 32. Right. Mm-hmm. And I can and I'd be able to zip them up effortlessly. Cause I I know, come on, ladies. Like, I know I have a pair of jeans that's like folded up in my closet where I'm like, someday,
it's gonna happen.
it's gonna happen. But that's what people think about, right? That's what that's what women potentially could be thinking about, or keeping up with their kids. They don't want to be running around the house, enjoying their kids or grandkids, and they can't get up the stairs and not be out of breath. They want to be able to just have fun when they want to have fun. Or maybe it's just that their high school reunion's coming up and they want to be the person that turns heads again, right? Like they remember what it was like when they were 15 or 16, and they want to make sure that they turn those heads again. Those are the things that you want to really, really look at, okay? Look at how, like, those pains and struggles. When you get this and you get those 3 questions, I mean, that just opens up everything for you to be able to make everything feel so much more simple. And then the next step, all right, after you have those 3 big questions answered, and that could literally take you maybe like 15 minutes, 20 minutes if you really want to like put some time into it, which I suggest you do. So how do you come up with your big promise? It's as easy as this, all right? It's literally this: how to blank without blank. And this is how it works: how to insert your dream and desire without a pain and a struggle. And so, Cari, I know you were talking about like, how do you create a big promise, or how do you create a webinar when maybe you haven't had the results yet? Well, here's what's cool. You don't have to have the results. You just have to be able to share either a story or a result that someone else has gotten. So for the health and wellness, for the weight loss challenge, you could do how to lose 10 pounds in the next 30 days without working out. Like maybe you just have a shake regimen that you use for 30 days, right? And there you go. That's your big promise, to lure people in, to get them curious. How to lose 10 pounds in the next 30 days without working out. Or maybe you're looking to build a team. And so you have a story of someone in your company that does it without hotel meetings. Maybe they use the 60-minute enrollment method, right? Yeah. So you can share it. How to quickly recruit 2 to 3 new teammates, right? That's the dream and desire per week without hotel meetings, right? So that's maybe the pain or struggle for them. They don't want to leave their kids at night. And then another example, if you have results, or if you know somebody else's story, share their story. So like how this previous 2nd grade teacher made a full-time income from home in 3 months without any business background. That's mine, right? And that's something that you can share, but you literally just have to create that. And then you worry about the rest of the presentation afterwards. Does that make sense, guys?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. And we want to get lots of loves. We're getting.
Yep, we are. We're getting a ton of accesses. So that's awesome. And
powerful, simple,
yeah, I'll talk even more about that stuff throughout the video series and throughout our private training that we'll be doing together.
Yep. So again, guys, we want to talk about that just for a second. Again, if you guys are wanting access to that video series this coming week, definitely comment access. So that way we can get you on our list of special people, I should say. Everybody's special, but this special list. So that way you get first dibs is what it comes down to. So, but I love that you shared that, Kate. Why? Because, it was like me and Cari when we first started and we did our first webinar. Like Cari said earlier, we are walking and talking proof that this strategy works. Why? Because we applied it.
Yep. And we had no results. Like, I think
no results,
no list, no network. We were living in my mother-in-law's basement, Whit's mom's basement.
Yep.
Like the first time we did a webinar, and we were sharing, secrets about attraction marketing and building a business, and we inserted other people's stories that we knew were having success.
And we did. And because we did that, and that was when we had our first 5-figure month. That is literally what happened. And so
November of last year, because of the webinar,
it just launched everything. Okay. So awesome.
So cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So I know that there's like everybody, they're all like, when is she going to get to the inviting question?
Right.
That's everyone.
How do I invite people? Yeah. You think we should get to that now then, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Everybody has been talking about inviting because this is probably the biggest and the hardest block is that I don't think it's hard for them to invite. They're just saying it's almost like because it's so new to them, it's just like, okay, how do I invite something? Like, how do I be excited about it? How do I do all these things? And I remember the first time inviting to a home meeting for us, and we did home meetings for like 6 months and didn't have anybody show up. So we were like, so we must have been like horrible at inviting people to it. But I think that's one of the biggest things for most network marketers or any type of business is, how do I invite somebody? Like, where do I start? And it's, for me, I can relate to that in this way of, it's like when I go to write, Cari's a great writer. But when I go to write, it's the first sentence that stops me.
Yeah.
And if I could just get the first sentence out of me, I could probably write pretty good, but I hate doing the first sentence. So it's almost like inviting. What's the first thing? Like, how do I make this happen?
Perfect.
They struggle to get people to home meetings. They struggle to get people to parties. So how are they going to invite people to an online webinar?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
how?
Yeah. So here's the cool part. And what I love that you guys just talked about is like that feeling of stuck or paralysis just on even getting started. It's like that first line. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give you one thing you have to do ahead of time that nobody even thinks about, that I'm actually going to ask for interaction from everyone that's watching. All right. So be ready.
Let's do it.
Be ready.
Be ready.
Some love,
Be ready.
spikes. Yes.
Be ready. And then I'm going to give you the way to get started by what you can post, and then also how you can actually follow up with that person. Okay. And it's a real slick method. I've got a couple of other methods I don't have time to share on this training, but this at least will get you kickstarted. Okay. So inviting, one of the biggest things and one of the biggest reasons that people don't invite is because of this first step. So your first step is that you actually have to mark your calendar. And I know that it sounds weird, right? It sounds a little like, okay, yeah, sure. But it does. Like, so if I were like, let's put it into an example. If I were to say, I want to run a 5K, and then that's it, right? I want to run a 5K. Well, the chances of me actually doing it are probably slim to none.
Yeah,
right?
me too. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. However, if I put into my calendar, and I have the date, and I just say, I will be running a 5K on this day, I will figure out a way to make it happen, almost, right? So the first thing is to mark your calendar. So I told you I wanted some people to hop in here. I wanted interaction. I want as many people as possible. I want you, if you're super hungry and you're super frisky and coachable and ready to go, then I want you to comment in with a date that you're going to do your next online event, okay? So you're going to do your next online event. You can call it a webinar, masterclass, whatever you want. I want you guys to comment in, okay? And Cari and Whit, let me know when people start throwing out their dates, because that means that you're committed, right?
Yes.
So that's the first step. And the second step is actually a little bit of what you will have just done if you commented in. So I can say that I'm going to run a 5K on October 31st.
We got our first one, Kate. 10/23, 10/16, October 14. So man, it's happening.
Tomorrow. I love it.
Wow, that's ambitious right there.
That is very ambitious.
Yeah.
Love it.
We're getting some dates.
Exciting.
Good. I love the dates. So here's the thing, that for most people, and you guys are already making the commitment, which is perfect, because for most people, what they do is they say, like, I'm going to run a 5K on October 31st, but they don't tell anyone else. And so then again, like, you're semi-committed for having it on your calendar, but once you declare it and you're like, I'm doing this, I'm pretty sure that the majority of people will follow through, and you'll follow through, because the last thing you want to do is have to approach somebody that knows that you were going to do something and be like, yeah, I didn't do it. Right?
Yep.
So I've got a post that's super slick just to get it out there. Like you said, Whit, what's the first thing you need to do to just get it out there? So this is the post that's worked really well for me. It's worked really well for my students. It's worked really well for a lot of people who've been using this method. And it's as simple as this, okay? It's
pen and paper ready.
Pen and paper ready. And if you need to, you can rewatch this live, because you're going to definitely want this information. So it's super simple. This is all it is. It's official. I'm going to be hosting a new online event very soon that'll help anyone who's looking. Now get this, if you did the hard work on developing your big promise, now everything becomes easy, right? Watch this. It's official. I'm going to be hosting a new online event very, very soon that'll help anyone who's looking how to blank without blank, right? And you just fill in the blank. how to lose 10 pounds without working out. If you want to be kept in the loop, comment, message me below, and I'll get you the details. That's all it has to be. People try and make it so much bigger and more difficult than that, but that's literally all you have to do, okay? Now, I'm going to give you the bonus next step. And this one, how many of you guys want to know how to actually pretty much uncover all of your pain, struggles, dreams, and desires of your prospects and get them basically connected to having to show up to your training? Anybody want it? Yeah?
Yes,
Me.
drop some
All right.
yeses. Come on.
So this is the neat thing you can do, because you can now send that person a private message, right? Because they said message me. But the cool part is literally all you're going to do is start the relationship and ask this one slick question that basically gets people to share everything that they need to know, everything that you need to know about them. All right. So that's what makes crafting a webinar super easy after that. So here's the message. Hey, I saw that you wanted to know more about the event I'm doing on blank. And you just write in the date. And then I'll make sure to send you details and touch base with you before the event starts. Just curious, what got you interested in coming? Like, that's it. It's super short, super simple, and there's 3 things that get done here, okay? The first is that you're mentioning the date again, so it's fresh in their mind. The second is that you're letting them know that you'll touch base with them again, all right? Because they're the ones who reached out to you, but you're not gonna give them all the details in the first post. And then the third piece, the question, is what makes it so powerful is you basically say, what got you interested in coming? Most people will give you a whole biography on their life, on the struggles that they've had, on what they want out of life, especially if you do a good job crafting out your how to blank without blank, right? So you're literally going to have people just writing all the things that you need to know in order to set up like your perfect online event to speak to that person, which is awesome, right? It's an easy, slick way of just getting it out there and getting people interested.
Cool.
Love it.
Friggin'
Love it.
guys.
And you're getting so much likes and loves.
Yes,
right
you
now.
are. So guys, like see how important that was just right there. Like you guys now literally, the cool thing about that is they could literally apply this. You got a whole bunch of people commenting their dates that they're going to go and do it, right?
Nice.
They just basically just got there. Okay, I don't have anything holding me back now. If I put it on the calendar, I don't have anything holding me back. I can go and invite, and now I can just start doing that live event. So you basically just gave information that's immediately going to get people started.
Like tangible. Like I can get started today, like right now.
Yep.
Which we love. We love it.
Yeah.
So this is one big question that I think is on a lot of people, especially in the network marketing world, is you get a lot of people that are seasoned network marketers. When they first started, they had a ton of success in enrolling a bunch of people, doing the house meetings, doing stuff like that. But we all see kind of a big change happening where more people are moving to an online thing, and they're wanting to stay from the comfort of their own home, do a party, and everybody can attend, but they don't have to go anywhere. They don't have to use the gas and stuff like that.
Sure.
And then you got these newer network marketers coming in and saying, man, that seems really intimidating. I don't want to do a home party, and I just want to be able to use online. So how can the 60-minute enrollment method kind of, for the old school network marketers that kind of really had a good jump start in their business, enrolled a bunch of people, and now they've kind of plateaued.
Yeah.
How can this kind of spark that, jumpstart that motor again to really get it pushed forward?
Well, here's the cool thing, and actually this is perfect because it segues into how do you actually get when people show up, right? And we'll talk about how to get people to show up at another time.
Yep.
However, like when you're hosting the event, like what's the structure of it? How does it work? Like, do I have to do it where I'm standing in front of a camera and I'm like showing specific stuff, like presenting
brochures?
Right.
Yeah.
So here's the crazy thing is that this formula can work if you want to do it that way and you want to just do like a Facebook Live. This actually works for Facebook Lives. It works for other trainings that you do. But the cool part that I love is that like you can literally do this and be in your PJs and have nobody see you. And once you get the presentation just kind of plugged in, you just get all set and you get all good to go. You get good to go. Here's the one thing I'll tell you though that I've seen other people do and do wrong. Okay. So if we're talking about now, like what the big promises of your webinar. You know how to invite people, like you've got your way to kick off inviting people. You've marked your calendar. Well, what do you then do to get people to stick around?
Yeah.
And the biggest mistake that I see so many people do, and I've seen it because I've searched through YouTube on people doing presentations, and what most people do wrong, and this is the cool part, because if you're new, or if you're like you did old school traditional methods and you're just coming online, and this is perfect. But if you're like brand new too, and you're like, well, I don't know how to present, you're going to set yourself up light years ahead of so many other people.
Yes,
what most people do is when they do these trainings, they immediately get into, they start talking about themselves. They start talking about what, everything that had gone on in their life. They start talking about their product or service. And there's nothing to get that person. So think about it from your prospect's perspective. All right. When they are, so the reason that coffee meetings can work, or the reason that home parties can work, is that as human beings, we know that it is necessary for us when we're sitting across the table from someone to somewhat pay attention, right?
Yes.
We have to be present. We have to look at the person. We have to engage with that person. Well, when they come to an online event, here's the crazy part, is that so many people get nervous because when they come online, well, what happens is the level of distraction increases for people, right? So think about it. They've got their computer and they're here and they showed up to watch you because you invited them. You created this big promise that they're super curious about because it solves their pains and struggles, or at least it seems to, right? And then you don't know, they're sitting on the couch probably, their kids next to them, screaming, the TV's on, football's on in the house, like it always is in our house.
Yeah.
And there's a potential chance that they had a really cruddy day, or they're exhausted. And for them to be present for you, they don't really have a need to be present yet, right? You have to earn their need to be present with you, to want to stay. So there's actually 3 questions that I like to use that are so slick that get people to do what I like to call feeling into the future, okay? And the last question creates the buying conversation within the first 3 minutes, and does it in a way that's non-hypey, non-salesy. And I loved this when we started implementing it, because so many people, their screen turns on, they start their presentation, their prospects watching, and they start talking about themselves. Right?
Yep.
And they start talking about their product, and it's no. So instead, this is what you guys are all going to do. So the first thing that you either want people to see or you want people to hear, if you want to do it through a Facebook Live, you absolutely can. You don't have to use, slides or anything like that if you don't want to. But you need to tell them, all right, what they came for. So you need to just repeat the big promise. So it's super easy. You do something like this. Hey, what's going on? Kate McShea here. And on this training, I'm going to share with you how to lose 10 pounds in 30 days without working out. So you give them that reminder, right? Because they're all distracted, and then they go, oh yeah, that's the reason I wanted to come, right? That was the solution that I wanted to have. So then the next 3 slides are as simple as this. They're 3 questions. Ready? So here are the questions. And you literally just go right into the questions because you're making it about your people. It's not about you, it's about your people. And they're in a state where they're distracted, and you want to get them, I guess, attracted onto your message. Yep. So the first question is, how would it feel? How would you feel if blank? The second question is, what would it feel like to blank? And the third is, what would that be worth to you? So here, let me give you quick examples, okay? So for an example, and this is how it works. This is kind of the cool thing that happens. How would you feel if you had leads and sales coming into your business on autopilot every day? And what's neat is you get people commenting in, right? And you guys can answer that question too if you want on the live. And what happens is you allow people to start thinking of not where they're currently at, but where they want to be. And so it's people start commenting in, and no one's going to say that would suck.
Yeah, right.
I don't want that. Everyone's going to say oh, that would be amazing. That would make me feel so much less stressed. I feel like I would finally be moving forward in my business. You get people to open up to you, right? Then you ask the second question. So here's an example. What would it feel like if you had people reaching out to you every single day wanting to work with you, right? So then you ask that question. So now they're thinking even further. They're like, oh my gosh, if I had people reaching out to me wanting to work with me, I could be with my kids. Like, they start creating solutions to what they create answers to your question. That's just what our brain does, right?
Yeah.
So then, third question, and this is the most amazing question once we started utilizing this, was what would that be worth to you? Now, this opens up a buying conversation, right? Because so many people struggle with, well, like, how do I transition from giving value to asking for a sale? Well, literally in the first 3 minutes, you're starting to have that conversation in a very, very relaxed, like non-hypey way, right? Because you're painting the picture of what is possible. And then you're asking them what it would be worth to them. And what people start to do, and I know from my students' experience and from mine, is they start saying, oh my gosh, like, I would pay thousands for that. I would pay tens of thousands of dollars for that. That would be priceless to me. And they start putting a price tag to it, which basically gives you the green light to provide value to them and then open up your products and services to those people because they've basically said yes to you.
Yeah.
And those 3 questions every single thing about all of that is revolved around your prospect.
Right.
And so that's the powerful part, right? It's revolved around your prospect. You don't have to have results to ask those kind of questions. Yeah. Like, you don't have to have massive results. And I'll share with you actually inside of one of the training series videos, I believe it's video 3 actually, that will share with you how what you think are your lack of results are actually a huge asset for you.
Yeah.
And I'll walk you guys through how that works.
I love that because, you know, what gets me excited about that video is that that's what me and Cari used. Our lack of, we turned that into an amazing story that said, okay, here's these people. They're just like me. If they can do it and they can move forward and do these things, I can do it too. So I absolutely love that. Love that. So
yeah. You know what, Kate? Oh my gosh, you've blown our minds tonight.
Yes.
Guys, if you've gotten value, let us know.
No, likes and loves. Yeah.
Yes. I wish we could do gifts. Can you do gifts on a Facebook Live?
Yes, you can.
We need some gifts, like some dancing girls.
Yeah. Well, not dance. Well,
I'll dance.
Well,
I'll be a dancing girl.
Well, if you type in dancing girls, I don't know what's going to show up on the gift. So
probably not a good idea.
Just be aware if it shows up here. Okay, Cari asked for it. It's her fault.
I love it. That is so awesome.
We just want to say thank you. I know all of the viewers. I mean, we're getting so many likes, loves, some laughs now.
Yeah, some laughs now because we're talking about dancing girls. But
so grateful.
But before we wrap all this up, we want to again let everybody know. So these video series is going to be coming out this next week.
Yep.
And you guys are going to have premium access to that. And we're going to go over and we're going to dive into a little bit more detail of kind of what Kate has been talking about tonight. So some of the questions that you're kind of like, okay, I'm still a little iffy about, and wanting a little bit more detail of further explanation, that's what these videos are going to be for. So guys, do not forget to comment access down below. So that way we know, like, guys, we're not going to chase you. We're not going to say, hey, you know, did you mean to comment access even though you didn't on our live? We're not going to chase you to do that. So make sure that you do that or you will miss out.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and
definitely
the
not.
thing is the videos, like, just as fast as they're going to be put up, they're only like live for a week. So you got to make sure that you're on there, watching them. You're there live with Kate when she's doing them, because it's going to be like jam-packed full of value. And then we have our online training that we're going to be doing with you, Kate.
We do.
It's a private training for those people that we're going to invite to this. So guys, you know, we're going to throw out a ton of value. Us and Kate mostly because she's awesome. And she's going to be throwing out a ton of value over the next week or so. So guys, you definitely want to be on there. So definitely you better be messaging us up, access this and that. Let us know so that way we can get you guys plugged in.
Yeah, Kate, you're amazing. Thank you so much.
So everybody, let's give us some claps.
Loves.
Yep.
Absolutely love her. Do you have anything else that you want to leave us with before we hop off, Kate?
You know, I think well, number one, thank you, Cari and Whit, for hosting me and having me on. I mean, the amount of value that all of us were able to provide for your people, I think, was really, really powerful on this. And I just know that you guys are so amazing with providing value to your people consistently. So like all of you that are watching, you guys are in such good hands with Cari and Whit. And then I think the only other thing I would say is just that the biggest thing for me, like if you're thinking, well, what's the reason I need to watch the videos or learn more about this method, is I know firsthand, I know from myself, I know from hearing from Cari and Whit, which I'm just so honored to hear about just your results, and then other students of ours is that the one thing that you can't get back is time. And that your time is so valuable. So it's like, would you rather be grinding and hustling every single day and basically getting yourself burnt out, or would you like to be strategic and work smarter and not necessarily harder and find a way to actually make this kind of method work? Because I know if it's worked for me, it's worked for Cari and Whit, it's worked for other students of ours that you'll hear more about. Obviously, it can work for you guys too. And so more than anything, what I want is to be able to give you the opportunity to have your time back. And just know that that is precious, and you have every right to run after it and search for it and make your life what you want to make your life, right? Make it fun. Make it the good stuff, right? That's what we want.
Yeah, dancing girls apparently is what we got going. I mean, I'm not above it, so let's make it happen. Make it rain. Right? Make it rain.
Something so professional and so full of value to just
right down the tank. Hey, guys, that's just the way we are. Vicky's already lighting the champagne bottle and glasses, so that's awesome. We've had some awesome stuff, and we got some awesome comments happening here, Kate. So again, we just want to thank you for jumping on with us tonight.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you.
We appreciate your heart and all the value that you give to us and to our people. I mean, we know our people are in great hands with you. So.
Yep. And so again, just one last time, guys, make sure you hit access so that way we can continue this awesome training this coming week.
Yes.
And we'll just kind of wrap that up and say again, thank you, Kate, and they'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay,
great.
Thanks so much, Kate.
Thanks, guys. Bye, everybody.
We'll see ya.
Okay. See ya.